Shannon Sharpe says he's temporarily stepping away from ESPN in the wake of a $50 million lawsuit accusing him of rape. A woman filed suit against Sharpe on Sunday, accusing him of raping her twice.
Regular routine was that Shannon, then they would.
Why was that relevant?
Started out soft, barely noticeable, like the quiet before a full-blown storm. But in just a few days, the gossip exploded into a media frenzy. Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer turned media giant, straight up disappeared, or at least that's how it looked. And the timing, way too convenient. Just when cracks were starting to show in his picture-perfect image, boom, he vanishes. But this wasn't your average celeb scandal. This was the kind of chaos that dominates headlines for months, the kind that grabs you and doesn't let go. Some believed he made a calculated exit, others they were tossing out wild theories like he was running from something big, or hiding out before all hell broke loose. $10 million. $10 million in a single day, and the number kept rising. That's how deep this whole drama cut. As more accusations came out, the noise only grew. And at the center of it all, Gabriella Zuniga, an OnlyFans model with a lawsuit that read like something straight out of a tabloid. She dropped bombshell claims, emotional manipulation, hidden recordings, threats, but the one that really shook people. She alleged that Shannon's private world was completely off the rails. Not just messy career ending, what had everyone talking was the age gap. Sharpe was 54, Zuniga just 19 when they allegedly got involved. That alone sent shockwaves. People were quick to call it out, many saying it felt straight up predatory.
Easter Sunday, a lawsuit was filed in state court in Nevada against Hall of Fame tight end Shannon Sharpe because he has become such a massive media star, especially in the past few years. The lawsuit is going to attract.
She was even younger than his own kids. The power imbalance, way too real, and it pushed the scandal into much darker territory. This wasn't just some messy hookup drama. These were serious questions. What kind of grown man, with fame and influence, targets someone fresh out of high school? And worse, what happens when that dynamic crumbles? Then came the leaked messages and everything got even weirder. The alleged texts revealed disturbing content, racially charged roleplay that left people stunned and glued to their screens. The crazy part, it was Sharpe himself who leaked the messages, trying to prove it was mutual, but
It's a claim against someone alleging that some rights were violated, and in most cases what's sought is compensation in the form of damages to make up for whatever it is the person did. And there are all sorts of civil lawsuits, car accidents, defamation. We hear about that a lot because people get sued about things that are said about them in media.
Zuniga's texts had some lines that were just straight up disturbing. Some folks were in disbelief reading them, left wondering, was this just two adults testing boundaries, or was something way darker hiding underneath? And the biggest question, why would Shannon Sharpe, a man who built a whole legacy on respect, throw it all away over something this explosive? Just when you thought it couldn't spiral any further, boom, the streets started buzzing again. Word was, this was just the beginning. More claims were on the way. And Zuniga's lawsuit might have just kicked open the floodgates. Insiders whispered that Shannon's private life was way more chaotic than anyone imagined. Fans felt blindsided. For years he sold realness, relatability. Now that image was cracking wide open.
But a lot of the stuff he was saying, because I don't live in that world, people think because, oh, Shannon, you live in Hollywood, you have that, you must have heard, you must have been, no, bro.
Too big to ignore. People couldn't stop talking. Critics were ripping into him. Even his most loyal fans were left asking, who really is Shannon Sharpe? This wasn't just an attack on his personal life. It put his career under the spotlight. How could a man so smart with his brand make decisions that looked this reckless? Why chase a relationship that screamed red flags from the start? If there were answers, they were buried under legal jargon and polished PR spin. But one thing was clear: the Shannon Sharpe fans thought they knew. He was gone. In his place, a far more complicated and honestly way more troubling version. And the timing couldn't have been worse. Sharpe was winning. His post-NFL career was thriving. From the field to the screen, he was killing it. His podcast Club Shay Shay was on fire, locking in A-list guests and millions of views. But right as his brand hit its peak, boom, Zuniga's lawsuit dropped like a bomb, and it didn't stop there. More leaks, more lawsuits, more chaos. It all unraveled fast. Fans were scrambling for answers, but every new detail made things even darker. Through it all, Sharpe stayed silent, only speaking through dry PR-approved statements, claiming he was the victim.
The Deshaun Watson cases where there were 20 plus plaintiffs and they weren't really sure who the people were who were making the claims. In this case, Shannon Sharpe knows exactly who it is because there had been, and it's clear from the statement issued by his lawyer, Lanny Davis, there had been some pre-litigation efforts to try to resolve.
But for a lot of folks, those statements just didn't hit. The silence, the scandal, the mess. It all clashed with the man he sold to the public for years, and just when people thought it couldn't get any crazier, boom, another twist dropped. This wasn't just about lawsuits anymore. This was about a warning Sharpe ignored. One name kept floating to the surface. Cat Williams, the no-filter comic with a gift for calling out chaos before it explodes. Turns out, Cat had warned Sharpe months earlier in an interview that no one took seriously at the time. No, that same clip was going viral again and folks couldn't stop watching it. Continued, did Cat Williams see it all coming? And if so, what else does he know? Suddenly, that interview everyone brushed off was being dissected like a prophecy. Months before the scandal, Cat had sat face-to-face with Sharpe on Club Shay Shay. Back then, it felt like wild off-the-cuff banter. But now, those jokes were hitting way too close to the truth. That clip blew up all over Thailand's news reports and podcasts. And between Cat's sharp humor and raw jabs were warnings that now felt chillingly real. Nobody was laughing anymore. They were realizing Cat might have been dropping facts the whole time. The irony, it felt like a movie plot playing out in real life.
Whether or not you believe him. Was it tough hearing some of the things that he was saying? Yes, because I have a personal relationship with Earthquake. I've had Steve Harvey on the show.
There was Cat, leaned back in his chair, dropping what felt like a mix of jokes and low-key warnings. He spoke on power plays, the trap of fame, and most controversially, the dangers that can come with certain interracial relationships. At the time, it all felt over the top like typical Cat. But now, those lines hit like a countdown that finally reached 0. In Shannon's face in that moment. Man, it said everything. He was laughing but nervously shifting around, clearly unsettled, trying to steer the convo away. But Cat, he wasn't letting go. He kept pressing calm but cutting like he'd seen this whole train wreck coming. And here's where things start to crack open. Word is, during that very interview, Shannon was already entangled in the exact situation Cat was hinting at. The timing. Brutal. Cat was mapping out how fast things unravel when lines get crossed. And Sharpe just sat there deep in it, acting like all was fine. Did he truly believe his public image was bulletproof? Maybe it was ego, maybe denial, that toxic mix that makes even the smartest dudes believe they're untouchable. Until it all falls apart. At this point, nobody was buying Sharpe's "I'm the victim" act. Especially not now that Cat's words were playing back like a prophecy. The heat was rising. And folks weren't just blaming him anymore. They were going back. Digging through everything, every comment, every tweet, every post.
Clause, I'm taking him at his word because I wouldn't know that. Nobody has ever heard that before. I'm thinking that's truth because he's on the
10 o'clock to 10:09 clip. Nothing was safe. Then the receipts dropped and they hit hard. That awkward Instagram live back in circulation. The leaked texts, the audio clips, blowing up like wildfire. Each one added more fuel to the fire, piecing together a messy, clear picture. Cat hadn't guessed he'd known. Sharpe had been walking this dangerous line way longer than anyone realized. And here's the twist that had everybody talking while Shannon scrambled to salvage his rep. Cat Williams was chilling the same dude folks once dismissed as wild or washed. Now, he was being praised for seeing the truth before it even cracked the surface. Old Cat interviews were getting a second life, and now they hit different. People couldn't wait to hear what he'd say next. It was a full flip. Shannon, once the polished, media golden boy, was catching fire from all angles. Meanwhile, Cat, the so-called outsider, was looking like the one who'd been right the whole time. He wasn't just back in the spotlight, he was owning it in interviews. In posts, Cat leaned all the way into his role as the man who sees past Hollywood's smoke and mirrors. There was power in how he talked, comedy laced with razor-sharp truth. This wasn't random. Cat had lived through the filth of fame, watched it destroy people, and somehow walked out standing. In one viral clip, he said, "When you've been in the lion's den long enough, you start recognizing who's wearing fake fur." And that hit hard. He spotted the mess before any of us did, and he wasn't done. Cat's truth bombs weren't only about Sharpe. He'd been warning people for years, from shady deals to toxic hookups, while others stayed silent or played along. Back then, people thought he was chasing relevance. After this whole Sharpe disaster, folks were finally listening. Old clips were resurfacing and everything he'd said was starting to make too much sense. Cat wasn't just the funny guy anymore. He was the whistleblower.
Alrighty, y'all. So the Shannon Sharpe ESPN does he still keep his job conversation is beginning to, I was going to say beginning to happen, but it's been happening. But I think now it's beginning to get louder because of different things that Attorney Busby has released, including the audios. So right now the conversation is, why is Shannon Sharpe still able to be
someone who'd been sounding the alarm long before the world was ready to hear it? And what really drove it home was how Cat handled the moment. No bragging, no pity party. He stayed in his lane, the raw, unfiltered outsider who always spoke his truth, no matter the audience, and that's why his words hit so different. He wasn't guarding some clean-cut image. Cat had nothing to lose, and that made him dangerous, the kind of dangerous that makes the system nervous. He wasn't just exposing things, he was daring them to push back, and he had receipts. Then came the money twist. That Club Shay Shay episode. It was a monster, millions of views, huge payday for Sharpe. But now that same interview was being viewed as a warning shot, the prelude to his own downfall. People were calling it poetic justice. Like the universe delivered Sharpe his own downfall with a side of irony. But it also raised questions. Was this all just coincidence? Did Sharpe know he was stepping into the fire? And why bring in Mr. No Filter Cat Williams if there were skeletons in the closet? But Cat wasn't finished, not even close. After the scandal broke, he started dropping cryptic hints, teasing a possible follow-up interview, said he had more heat to drop, and the internet lost its mind. People asked, what else does he know? Why wait? Some said he was hyping himself up. Others felt it was personal, like he was gearing up to drop bombs times 10. Meanwhile, those leaked audios of Shannon and Gabriella Zuniga, they were being dissected like courtroom evidence. Every pause, every tone. People weren't just listening, they were analyzing. These weren't just casual convos, they were packed with tension. And every line raised more questions than it answered.
Are now beginning to bring up past things that have happened with Shannon Sharpe, including a temporary restraining order that was filed against him back in 2010 from a woman that he was dealing with at the time, who accused him of sexual assault. He said in different things. Now, this was dropped. It was dismissed. That restraining.
Was it all just some kind of role play like Sharpe's camp claimed? Or was there something darker hiding in those recordings? One thing's for sure, those tapes were not helping his case. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any wilder, boom, new whispers hit the streets. More names started surfacing, people who might have seen it, heard it, or even been part of the chaos. Was this an orchestrated takedown like Sharpe's supporters insisted? Or was it just his private mess finally blowing up for the whole world? To see either way, things were spinning out fast and messy at this point. It wasn't even about what already happened. It was about what's still to come. Because if the past few weeks proved anything, this saga is far from over. Too many unanswered questions. Too many people in the shadows, maybe with stories of their own to tell. And now, the spotlight is burning hot. Sharpe's clean image in pieces, and the fallout just getting started. So what's your take? Did Cat Williams really see all this coming before it exploded? Or was it just wild coincidence and bad timing for Sharpe? You think he's got a shot at redemption? Or is this the final chapter? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're watching them all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if this story has you feeling the heat. And hit that bell, cause what's coming next, you won't want to miss it. See you in the next one.